Hey everybody, Craig Sewing here, host on 1170 AM KCBQ, weeknights at 6 p.m. You've responded to the email that I created for you about just the opportunity that exists within partnering in the advancement of the radio show, and I want to say thank you for the response and the interest that you've shown. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm sure you can understand, the show is really growing, and it's really good for everybody who gets involved in it. So it's somewhat of high demand. I think you understand in your profession in the financial markets, supply and demand a little bit. So what I've really done is we've tried to create the process to aligning the right people in 3 steps. I'm kind of adding a 4th here with this video and this email. The first was you had to be referred to us. And I want to answer in this video a couple questions, this being one of them. Who referred you? A lot of people have been able to answer that. Others, it's gone through my team. Some of these things get filtered by the time they get to me, but my presence is really big in the real estate industry. Inman News nominated me for the most influential in real estate. Didn't win, but I was nominated. I do a lot of big events here in San Diego. Last year we did one with 1,200 realtors. I did some live shows at different places, different venues. So probably someone from the real estate community, because what I did with my team is we put an email out to some different partners of ours and friends of ours in the industry and said, who'd you recommend as we advance our show? We need to align some strategic financial planners that will have a positive message for the show and be a great addition. And so you were referred, so accept that as a tremendous compliment. And I can get you specifics, but that was a question that was asked to me. Also, as far as how have we really created the process to aligning the partners? Well, my goal is to get the referral. Then my team does some homework, checks out your website, looks into you a little bit, and makes sure by the time it gets to me, it's someone of a high stature that we would even consider having on the air with 2,000 to 3,000 listeners every evening in a growing show that has my name attached right on the front of it. I'm sure you can understand how important that is as well. Now, the 3rd step was going to be to meet. I have to develop a synergy with you. Again, my name is on my show, and the most important thing to me is a good positive message, teaching people how to win in any marketplace. And to do that, we got to have someone that I'm confident will have fun in here and deliver that message with me, which it is a lot of fun, and I'm assuming that'll turn out just fine. And I love the word synergy, where 1 + 1 = 3. Your involvement in the show and my involvement with you, we can make some great things happen. Now, I've added this video and this email as kind of a filter because I've gotten some questions. We're reaching out to a handful of people. You were one of them, but we are reaching out to a few others to select who we think would be the best to involve in the show, not just for the show, but for what happens outside of the show with events and referring clients, listeners to you to go into your office, meet with you. You got to have a high level of trust there. So there's been some questions that have been asked, and I want to answer a few of them, and then I'll let you go here. And if you could just let me know your level of interest beyond this video and this email, that'd be great. So one of them was compliance. Is the show compliant? I understand on your side of the business, compliance is tough. You got to remember, I'm in the real estate and lending industry, so I get it. I know the Dodd-Frank stuff. I know how compliance can be in this marketplace. It drives me nuts, but I'll say my opinion for the radio show, which I'm about to go on here. Don't worry about compliance. I should have mentioned that I founded the Real Estate Radio Network, which is the content of this show spread across the country in different markets. And we have financial partners all across the country, even ones as big as Ameriprise. So there's ways to work that to make it completely compliant. And keep in mind, the messaging will come from you and me, so if there's certain things we have to avoid to make you comfortable, I'm fine with that. The other thing was the cost. Obviously, the cost. Obviously, it's an investment. You don't just spend money to come on the air. I mean, a lot of people do because it can raise your profile and help with your marketing, increase credibility. I mean, the list there is a mile long, and I'll help you with a lot of those things. But what is the investment, and will it be offset? It's minimal. It depends on how we end up structuring this in the hour of the show, in the number of guest appearances and things along those lines. I'm hoping to get you on the air a couple times a month with call-ins and things like that as well. Here's what I'll say. it's going to be in the hundreds, not thousands. You know, when we look at the success of the first show, we have partners that pay several $1,000s, even 5 figures in some cases. That is not the model here. It's going to be a few $100s, so minimal, and it will be offset by business that comes consumer direct from the show. But there's also a lot more outside of that as well. You know, you hear it in business, and I know you know about this, but return on investment. I like to say when it comes to this show and how it's growing and what it can do for you and how your involvement can help grow the show as well. There's return on investment where you look at, I spent hypothetically $500 this month and I made $2,000, so I had a 400% return on my investment. Now that's great, and that's, you know, a measuring matrix in some equations, but when you look at all of the other things that we can do to make this a value for you, and I have a team in place that really helps, I call it the return on relationship. When you involve in this show, you're involving in me. I'm on your team. We're going to help you with your marketing, raising your profile. We're going to get you involved in the events that we do. I'm going to introduce you to a lot of key people. And here's a really big one. I run a pretty big mortgage team and do business development for a company called Synergy One Lending. And I know we have to model it a certain way, another compliance thing, but through the Real Estate Radio Network, we can actually offset your costs for types of referrals that you actually refer, which you might be able to do with your clients. So I'll get more into that, but the bottom line is if it should never cost you anything. Really, it should never cost you anything. But like anything, there's nothing for free, and the whole point of this is to advance the show. And as we advance the show, the audience will grow. We have goals to syndicate, exploring television opportunities as well. All this is really, really exciting, and I'm really thankful that you've shown interest. I know you haven't heard enough about it, and I still want to sit down with you. I still want to answer any questions that you have and develop a relationship. We're in a relationship business. But I felt like I should create this video for you and this email because I want to cut out the people that, you know, I'm terrified about going on the radio, or I can't spend a few $100 even if it does pay me, or I don't know. I have more business than I can handle right now. Whatever it could be, I wanted to cut some of the fat out of the diet and make sure whoever I'm going to go meet with, sit down, have a coffee, grab a lunch, happy hour. I don't mind having a beer. Whoever I sit down with, I want to make sure it's not a waste of your time and not a waste of mine. And I think we can both agree with our busy schedules, getting off to a great start to the new year. We want to make sure we're very selective with how we use our time. It's our most valuable asset. So anyway, I hope this answers some questions for you. You can email me your level of interest, scale of 1 to 10. There is no right or wrong way to respond. This video is embedded in an email where I'm going to type up some of the same bullet points, but it was simply meant to kind of be a filter and also to personally, through the video at least, say thank you. It really is humbling to know that you'd be interested in doing this, and I really genuinely appreciate it. And I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am for the opportunity to continue to grow the show. We're having such a positive impact on San Diego and other marketplaces as well, in social medias and online and all that fun stuff. So thank you so much for your interest, and thank you for understanding that I'm committed to that positive message, helping people win in any marketplace, and hopefully this ultimately makes sense for you. Thank you.